Hello and welcome to my channel. Yesterday, throughout the news, it was Simon Ekpa's conviction. I decided not to talk about it until today. And I want to be as neutral as possible. So Simon Ekpa was convicted in Finland. This is what it means for IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, and the Biafra struggle. I had a DOS doing something like disconnecting. Well, after this video, you will learn a lot of things, including I want to also talk about, I saw in a post somebody was talking about Simon Ekpa will be returned to Nigeria after 6 years. Let me tell you the fact. Wait till the end of this video, you will learn a lot. So recently, the news broke from Finland. Simon Ekpa, the Finland-based, a breakaway activist or a separatist activist, has been sentenced to 6 years in prison for terrorism-related offense. The court found him guilty of using his social media influence to incite violence and support armed groups linked to the Biafra struggle. But what does this really mean? How does this affect IPOB, its leader Nnamdi Kanu, and the wider call for Biafra? In this analysis, we break down everything and in simple English without taking sides. I am not here to take sides. Do you note that? I'm not here to take sides. And that is why I told you earlier, I want to give a neutral broadcast on this. Simon Ekpa is a Nigerian-born Finnish citizen. He became popular online around 2021. I remember during one of Nnamdi Kanu's broadcasts, he was saying, listen to Simon Ekpa, this and that. So, but Simon Ekpa became more prominent around 2021 after Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB, was kidnapped from Kenya to Nigeria. Ekpa presented himself as a Kanu follower and began broadcasting messages about the Biafra struggle. Note, he has started broadcasting about the Biafra struggle before this point, but he become more serious, especially with the detention of Nnamdi Kanu. It's like adding fire, yes. However, his approach is not something that is comfortable with some members of the IPOB, DOS. I remember Nnamdi Kanu, through one of his lawyers, said Simon Ekpa should be allowed to broadcast on Radio Biafra. I don't know what caused the disagreement. He was not allowed. Perhaps they said he did not accept the terms and conditions. I don't know. But I am aware that such, Nnamdi Kanu gave such directive and it was. So, but what triggered the whole problem was the case of the sit-at-home, calling for a sit-at-home in Southeast. And they said he's using his platform to encourage violent resistance to Nigeria. So this brought division between him and the IPOB structure. That is, if you say the IPOB structure in this sense, that Nnamdi Kanu is not around, the DOS, I think the DOS, they call them Directorate of State. They are next to Nnamdi Kanu by hierarchy, by ranking. Now let's go to the Finland court case. In 2023, Finnish authorities arrested Simon Ekpa. I think 2023 or 2024, yeah, at his home in Lahti. After investigations, he was charged with terrorism-related offences and aggravated tax fraud. So the court ruled that between 2021 and 2024, he used the large social media following to incite violence in Nigeria, and that he was connected to supplying weapons and, the rest of them to armed groups. 3 Finnish judges, that's Finland judges, in an unanimous ruling, sentenced him to 6 years in prison. You remember, about 3 months to 4 months ago, the prosecutor was asking for 6 years. Ekpa denied the charges, but he was found guilty. And I want to tell you about Finnish sentence. The 6 years is like he will spend 3 years inside and he will come out, but he will be under supervision. for a while. And if he comports himself well, it might be he might finish the sentence outside custody, but under supervision. So 3 years inside custody, then that is how Finnish law does, especially if it's a first-time convict. That is how it will be done. But the CCS is CCS. But some of the part of the CCS in custody, the 3 years for a first-time conviction. If somebody that has been convicted before, it could be longer. The time he will spend almost 4 years in custody before being allowed to, depend on how the person carries himself. And the person will be monitored. Now let's go to IPOB's response, distancing themselves from Ekpa. So following the judgment, IPOB quickly released statement. We saw in a lot of news report yesterday, their spokesperson, Emma Powerful, said clearly that Simon Ekpa has never been an IPOB member. That is what they say. Remember, I want to be neutral on this. I'm telling you what they said, not what I said. So, they explained that during the Finnish trial, IPOB testified under oath that Simon Ekpa held no position in IPOB or its armed wing, ESN. In fact, Ekpa himself admitted in court that he was only a content creator and had even disowned IPOB in the past. This is according to them. So, IPOB accused Simon Ekpa of creating his own parallel structure, like this Biafra government in exile, autopilot groups. So according to them, they said such group is not recognized by IPOB. Their message was simple. Simon Ekpa's conviction is his own burden alone. That's something like saying a concern IPOB will not carry. That's what they are trying to say. Now, let's look at why IPOB is making such clarification. Let's look at why they are saying so. There are a few reasons why IPOB is working hard to distance itself from Ekpa. First, they want to protect their international image. I'm aware IPOB is proscribed in Nigeria, but I don't know. I don't think IPOB is proscribed elsewhere. I think it's only in Nigeria. So IPOB insists it is a non-violent movement registered under international law and committed to lawful self-determination. I'll be asking, I'll be filing some questions. In lawful self-determination in Africa, is there a way you can get self-determination smoothly in Africa with such leaders we have? This is only a question. Now, second reason they are distancing themselves from Simon Ekpa. They want to make sure Simon Ekpa's conviction in Finland is not used to influence the ongoing trial of Nnamdi Kanu in Nigeria. You understand? They said these are two different things. They are not connected. So they are believing that Nigerian government may try to link the two cases together to weaken their struggle. So by speaking out now, IPOB is separating the issues. Ekpa's case is one thing. Nnamdi Kanu's trial is another. That is what they are trying to say. Nigerian Finnish remember, October 10 is a very important date when the court will rule whether they accept the no-case submission from Nnamdi Kanu's legal team. Now, the bigger questions this raises now, there's some important question. Why has the Southeast remained restless since the end of civil war in 1970? Why do groups like IPOB and other splinter movements like Ekpa's faction, why do they keep gaining followers? These are important questions we should ask. Now, part of the reasons I will give you, there is a feeling of marginalization among the Igbo people. We have listed it in several videos and a lot of people have protested. Just like the railway, the new railway under Buhari did not go through Southeast. The recent distribution of pressure pipe, there are several other reasons. So, the Southeast feels marginalized among others, especially the Igbo people who are in the southeast. Now, the other one is economic and political exclusion, as if we are not part, apart from governing our areas, we are not part of, So, now there is also this thing that is causing the problem, the historical trauma from the Biafra war. These issues are unresolved. You cannot blame the Igbo man totally. These unresolved issues are why the Biafra agitation continues to appear in different forms, generation after generation. I had what one of former Biafra war heroes said. He is late now. I watched his video. Gowan was talking about 3 hours, but inside him, he never meant it. He never meant it. 3 hours, reconciliation, blah, blah, blah. But they were still probing Igbo officers, Biafran officers, despite that most of the casualties of the war was suffered more by Biafra. But after the war, they kept probing, who are those who killed our commanders? They weren't sincere. So there are several issues concerning the war that were unresolved. And this were the reason why more groups are coming out. If a wound did not heal properly, what do you expect? So while you are blaming Igbo, you should understand their situation, where they are coming from. Forget about government deception, all-inclusive, this, blah, blah, blah. It's as if there is a script written there to bring the Igbo people down. It's as if. So Nigeria need a lot of things to settle, which I don't know if they can settle. And first of all, you've heard from different commentators. Merging us together was wrong at the first place. We are not supposed to be together. Everybody knows I'm not the only one that have said it. Merging us against our will. The British were in those days, merging people against for their own interest, British interest, so not for our own interest. Because they had to connect railway from north to south, a particular place they are in charge of. They merged the two places and before they are formed Nigeria. Can you imagine? Even the name Nigeria was suggested by their girlfriend. Anyway, that aside, let's look at the possible impact of this conviction. What happens now? For Simon Ekpa, he will serve his sentence in Finland. Unless, I don't know whether he's appealing. If he successfully appeals, well, for IPOB, this could be a chance to reinforce their image as a peaceful movement. If they succeed in, okay, Simon Ekpa is not part of us, we are a peaceful movement. Well, but it could also deepen divisions between different pro-Biafra factions. And for Nnamdi Kanu, the challenge is ensuring that the trial in Abuja is judged on its own merits without being contaminated by the Ekpa's case. IPOB has already appealed to the EU, UN, US, UK, and Finland to watch closely. I'm not rounding up here too, but this is like concluding part of this broadcast. I'm still going to tell you about what will happen after the 6 years. Simon Ekpa's conviction in Finland is a major development, but it does not end the story of Biafra. It is only one chapter in a much longer struggle, a struggle that began in the 60s and continues today in different ways. Whether through courts in Finland, trials in Nigeria, or debates in the international community, the Igbo question remains unresolved. They have not solved it. Yes, the Igbo question remains unresolved. And until it is addressed with fairness and dialogue, more chapters will surely unfold. I'm telling you. Now, concerning that conviction and what happens after, something I would like you to see. I read a post on Facebook. Let me read the post first before I now reply to it. Somebody wrote, "Is it true? Breaking update on Simon Ekpa." He said, under Finnish Nationality Act, amended 2019, Any naturalized citizens convicted of treason, high treason, or terrorism automatically loses their Finnish citizenship. Simon Ekpa, who is originally a Nigerian citizen, falls under this category. This means that after serving his 6 years prison sentence in Finland, he will be stripped of his Finnish citizenship. In simple terms, once his jail term ends, the Finnish government will hand him over to the Nigerian government. And the person asks, what are your thoughts? So the person left it open. Now let me tell you something about the Finnish law. What the Finnish law actually says. 1. Citizens can be revoked, yes. If a naturalized dual Finnish citizen is convicted of serious crime like treason or terrorism, including attempts or complicity in such acts. Now, in this case, the person is both a Finnish citizen and a Nigerian citizen. So, on such occasion, it can be revoked. Now, 2, conditions apply. The person must be a dual citizen, holds Finnish and another citizenship. Now, in this case, Simon Ekpa is a Finnish and Nigerian citizen based on what we had. Now, they must have committed the offense after the relevant law took effect. The decision to revoke citizenship is discretionary. It is made by Finnish Immigration Service, not automatic. It is not automatic. Now, number 3, sentencing threshold. Because there are certain things you need to know. Currently, since May 2019, revocation, listen carefully, since May 2019, revocation only applies if offense carries a maximum sentence of 8 years and includes terrorism, treason, etc. Simon was sentenced only 6 years. They said for offense of at least 8 years. So from October 1st, 2025, proposed amendment would lower this threshold, potentially allowing revocation for sentences of at least 2 years for terrorism, treason, or high treason. Now, how does this relate to Simon Ekpa's case? Ekpa is a dual citizen of Finland and Nigeria. He was sentenced, note, 6 years in prison in September 2025 on terrorism-related charges. Now, as of now, the current legal threshold, 8 years plus, means his 6 year sentence does not qualify for automatic or discretionary revocation under existing law. So he does not qualify to be returned to Nigeria. His sentence is just 6 years, not 8 years. So the proposed rule changed in October 2025, allowing revocation for sentences as low as 2 years. It has not yet come into force and may not apply to Simon Ekpa, depending on the timing. The new law is scheduled to take effect, that is, in the future compared to his conviction. Now, I want to summarize this in simple terms. The suggestion that Simon Ekpa automatically loses Finnish citizenship after serving his sentence is not accurate. Existing law does not allow revocation for serious crimes, but requires a sentence of 8 years or more. Now, his 6 year sentence is below the threshold. So, the 2019 amendment did not introduce automatic revocation, and decisions are made individually by the Finnish Immigration Service. The lower sentencing threshold, 2 years, under the proposed 2025 law is not yet active, so it does not apply to his case now. And here's a final take. While Finland can revoke citizenship from naturalized citizens convicted of terrorism or treason, it is not automatic, especially not for sentences shorter than 8 years. Simon Ekpa's case, his 6 years term falls below the current limit, and cutoff drop to 2 years only applies once the new law takes effect after October 1, 2025. Subject to review. This is IGBO AREA TV, bringing you analysis with balance and clarity. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the conviction weakens or strengthens the Biafra struggle? I am Azuka Oje. I say bye-bye for now.